Good evening to you all students. Let's
Good
continue
evening,
with the
ma'am.
today's session. And I hope you all are familiar with the today's topic. It's a very common topic that we are going to learn today with some practical example as usual. Let me share the screen with you all for the better understanding.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I suppose the slides are quite visible to you all. Isn't it?
Yes,
Okay. Now
yes,
let's
ma'am.
continue with the today's session, student. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, that is matter, as you can see on the slide. So matter, if I'm talking about, just forget about the theoretical science, that what is matter. I just want to make you understand one thing. If you see around in your room, can you see so many matters are there around? Yes. So in order to remember matter, you just need to remember two things. Matter means which occupied space and which has mass. Okay. So mass is what? Content. If you are going to take that particular thing in your hand, it has some weightage, it has some content. Let's say example of a book. If I am holding a book in my hand, I must say it is also a matter. So matter is what, student? Matter means anything which occupied space and has some mass, that is weightage. Okay, now I want from you all at least tell me three things from your surrounding which you call from your side as a matter. Yes, before going ahead with the next slide, I want from you, can you tell me three examples of matter from your surrounding? You can see around your room, you can see so many things which is called to be a matter. Yes. Please unmute. Yes, I can say, see the Tanmay. Tanmay, unmute yourself, beta, and speak out.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I see a pen, a pencil
Exactly.
holder, a
Okay.
pen holder,
Okay.
and a pencil box.
Oh, bravo. Very nice. Perfect answer. Anyone else? Yes, Moksha. Mokshika. Exactly. Yes, Mokshika, will you speak the answer, beta?
Ma'am, I can see my laptop,
Exactly.
charger, and the door.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. I can see Angana. Yes, is that correct? Okay. Yes. Speak out, beta. Yes. You unmute yourself, beta.
Mommy?
Yes, beta. You.
Ma'am, I see a clock and I see a laptop, ma'am.
Okay, very nice. Bravo. So this assure from your side that you understood what is matter. Yes. So matter, what we understood, matter means anything which occupied space and has some mass, some content. Okay, that is called matter. Okay, no need to go by the theoretical explanation. Okay, I could have read this definition, but it is quite boring. Yes. So matter is what? Only two things you have to remember: occupied space and has mass, means some weightage, some content. Okay, now if I'm talking about what do tree, air and water have in common, if I'm talking about the tree being a solid substance, air being a gaseous substance, water in a liquid form, what is there in all these three? What is a common all these three? Yes,
Ma'am,
Beta?
Ma'am, there is molecules in every object.
Very good observation. Molecules. Here come the new topic in picture. That is molecules that I have to explain you in detail. Yes. But what is common in all these things? Exactly. Perfect. As well as they all are taking some space or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, they
Yes,
are
ma'am.
taking. Okay. Very nice. So here come the new thing in picture, that is molecules. Now, what is molecules all about? Such a big name, molecules. It is going bouncing back from the head. Yes, molecules. So molecules is what is, student? If I'm talking about a human body is made of what? Who will going to tell me human body is made of what?
Ma'am, human body is made up of
Exactly,
atoms.
very nice. So intelligent students, I must say. So here the human body are made of tiny material or the particle that is known as cell. Okay, we are multicellular organism because we are made of many cells. Yes, in the same way, but we are the living organism and we are made of cells, many cells. That is why we are known as a multicellular. In the same way, what about this book? This book is non-living thing but made of something, made of tiny particles. So those tiny particles are known as molecules. What it is? Molecules. So do remember two things, students. What it is? In case of living things made of tiny cells. It is made of tiny cells, many cells. That is called multicellular organism. In the same way, non-living thing made of tiny particles is known as molecules. I hope I am very much clear to you. Am I going across to you all? I told you in the last class also, please show me the thumb if you understood what I am saying. Okay, beta, very good. I can see your thumb. So here we understood that first, matter is what? Anything which occupied space and has some mass. Okay. Now we understood that the matter, being a non-living thing, is made of molecules. Okay, tiny particles called. Yes. Yes. So Lakshna, you want to say something, beta?
No, sorry, ma'am. I was just reading the things on the
Okay,
picture.
no issue, no issue. Just mute from your side, Pita. Okay, so here we are talking in detail the properties of matter. So properties of matter are of three types. Let's talk about the properties in detail. First, mass. Second, volume. And third, shape. As you can see the picture properly from here. Now here, what does it mean? Okay, what is the meaning of mass if I am saying? Okay, so let me tell you in detail. If I am talking about the mass means what? If I am talking about mass means content of the body. Can you see? I'm putting this container over this weighting machine. So in this weighting machine, I can see that the weight of this particular object is whatever it will be, 5 kg, 10 kg. Yes. So that is called the mass. What is the meaning of volume? If I explain the volume in one word. So
Volume is the unit used to measure water.
yes, only water.
No, ma'am, and other liquids as well.
Exactly. And instead of going such a elaborated or such a typical explanation, I can say only one word. What it is? Space. What I will say for the volume? Space. If you go for a mass, then you can say length into breadth into height, and it should be in a cube, meter cube. Unit is in meter cube. That is called volume. If you go by the formula in mass, okay, just now you are learning area and parameter. There also you can use in the further chapter. But here I am talking about in science perspective. So volume means what here? Volume means space. Have you seen there the two container? Can you see two containers? First in a conical flask, another is a glass container. I have changed the container, but the space taken by the water here is same here also. Isn't it or not? Is that same? Yes,
ma'am.
Yes. So irrespective of the container, the volume of the water remains same. Okay. I hope you understood. First, we read about, here I'm explaining only about the terminology we are using. So mass is what? Mass is the content of object. Volume is what? Space, how much space they are taking. And shape, I think you all very much familiar. Yes, hexagon, pentagon, yes, nonagon, decagon, heptagon. You all know all these shapes? How many of you know? Just raise your hand. Okay, what is heptagon? Yes, Mokshika, can you tell me what is heptagon? Let me test your knowledge also. Little bit, let's include some math.
I think heptagon is a shape that has 7 sides.
Exactly, dear. Who is going to tell me about the nonagon? What is nonagon? Yes.
Ma'am, nonagon is of 9 sides.
Exactly. And what about hexagon? What is hexagon?
Ma'am, it consists of 5 sides.
Is that? Then what
6
about
sides,
pentagon?
Pentagon has 5 and hexagon has 6.
Exactly, bravo, very nice. So this shows that you know all the shapes, huh? So here we are talking about shapes. So let's talk about the next slide in detail, which is very important. And I know that you all are familiar with this slide. Yes. So in this slide, what is there, dear? Let's see. In this slide, we understood what is matter in detail. Okay. So in this slide, we are going to read in detail about the states of matter. Okay, so there are 3 states of matter we have been reading since previous classes. Okay, in third we read, then in fourth also, and now here on in the 5th class also. So 3 states of matter are solid, liquid,
and gas.
Very good. If I'm talking about solid, let me give you one example. Then and thereafter, I want an example from your side. Okay. If I'm talking about ice cube in which state of a matter? Who will going to tell me?
Solid.
Exactly. If I'm keeping
Solid.
that ice cube out from the refrigerator, what would happen? It will change into what?
Water.
Liquid. Yes, another state of matter. And if I'm taking that liquid and putting that liquid over the stove in a container for heating, what would happen? It will change into what?
Gas.
Exactly.
Gas.
Perfect answer. So here I hope you understood that the three states of matter are solid, liquid,
and gas.
yes. And I hope you understood the example also. Now I want a two example from your side. Yes, let's start with Arya. Yes. Arya, can you tell me, beta? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Means which two examples?
You can give me the example of solid, liquid, and gas. Just
Okay.
think, have perception, broaden your perception, stretch your mind.
Okay, in solids, it can be a computer, and
Okay.
in gases, it can be a carbon dioxide or
Oh, you
oxygen.
think about carbon dioxide. I was thinking that you will say oxygen. Okay. You like carbon dioxide more than oxygen? Okay, dear. Yes. What about liquid? Yes. Can you give me one example of liquid? Think. There are so many liquid that you are consuming every day.
Milk.
Are you consuming ink? Yes, but ink is the example of liquid. Very good. Yes, Mokshika, can you tell me, beta, one example of solid, liquid, gas before going ahead with the next slide?
Solid, have food that we eat, like chapati, it is solid form.
Exactly, beta. That also you can count. Yes, next.
Liquid means like water or any
Okay.
medicine that we have in bottle.
Yes.
And gas like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon.
Okay, very good. Very nice. Okay, Tanmay, you want to speak, beta?
No.
Okay, I hope you are very much clear up to here, all of you. Yes, let's move ahead with the basic terminology which is required in this chapter very much. Okay, so first, atom, molecules and atom. That is non-living thing actually. Please mute from your side. Yes. Now here, student, we are talking about what atom. Atom is what? When atom together, combine together, they form a molecule.
Molecules
If
are
I say
atoms of
only
atoms.
oxygen, okay? And if I'm combining two oxygen, then it form a O2. What it form? O2. That is a molecule. Okay. So right now you understand it only in one way, that non-living things made of tiny particles known as atoms and molecules. Okay, so the tiny particle that every matter is made of, atoms and molecules. Just now we read about the states of matter. How many states of matters are there? Yes.
3.
What are they?
Solid, liquid, and gas.
Exactly. Good. Now property we are going to read in detail in the further slide. The property of the three states of matter. Okay. They all have a different property. Now I told you about the volume. What is the meaning of volume? Yes. One word I explain you for the volume.
Ma'am, space.
Exactly. Just remember one word is space. How much space that particular matter, whether it is in a solid form, liquid form, or gaseous form, are taking. That is called volume. And mass, what I explained you about the mass. What is
the
mass?
weight of any object.
Exactly. But you can say content of any object, because weight is not exactly a mass. It's a force, beta, due to which we are on the earth. That is gravitational force. Okay. So it is a content of the body. Now you will learn about this thing in detail in the higher classes. Okay. Now here comes the arrangement of molecules in the three states of matter. We understood properly that matter, any object which occupied space and has mass. Okay, we understood three states of matter. Now what about the molecules? How they are arranged in a different states. So let's talk about the arrangement of molecules in a matter in detail. Now let's see. Here, can you see the solid, how the molecules are arranged in a solid? They are very closely packed. They are tightly held each other. Let me give you one example. If I ask the student that this is a class, in this class, all 50 students will sit together. Okay, and only this much space is available. So you will do one thing, you will sit next to each other, holding each other. So how the students are sitting in a class, they are very close to each other or not? Yes, they're touching each other. Yes, they're very tightly packed to each other. In the same way, molecules in the solid are closely packed, they're tightly packed.
Ma'am,
Yes, beta.
ma'am, in the matter, ma'am,
Yes.
solids, the molecules are all together. In liquids, they have some space, and in the gas, they are fully spread out.
Yes, very good. That's what I want to explain you. In solid, the molecules are tightly packed. Liquid, they are loosely packed. And in gases, they are very far away from each other. And they are so far away from each other that they can hardly collide each other. Collide means what? They are intersecting each other. Okay. I hope you understood particles, arrangement of particles in matter. Anyone, any doubt? Arrangement of particles in matter?
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay,
No, ma'am.
let's talk about in detail in the next slide. Now, let me give you one example. Okay, here in this slide, let me take the pencil first. Yes. Okay, in this slide, student, let's see the solid. I am having a wooden plank or I am having a wood object. I am keeping that wood object in this container here. Is that wood object will take the whole space, whole volume?
Yes.
Is the wood object will take the whole space of the container?
No, ma'am.
No, no, it will not. Why? What is the reason? Who will going to tell me?
Ma'am,
Yes.
because the solid molecules are tightly packed. So
Exactly, perfect answer. That is why the
Ma'am,
structure
they're
of solid
together.
is rigid. What it is? How the
Rigid.
structure of solid is? It is?
Rigid.
Yes, it is rigid. Though the molecules are tightly packed to each other, irrespective of the container, their structure is rigid, very hard and rigid. Okay, so it doesn't make any difference where you are putting that particular what matter. Okay, now let's move ahead with the liquid. Here I am pouring the liquid in this container. Who will going to tell me what would happen? Is the liquid will
Ma'am, will take the shape of the container.
Exactly, perfect answer. The liquid will take the shape of the container wherever I am pouring it. Yes. Why? Because the molecules are loosely packed. They are not as tight as compared to the solid, isn't it? Now let's move ahead further and talk about the gases. As we know, the molecules in the gases are very far away from each other. Let me give you the example of LPG. Yes, what is the full form of LPG? Who will going to tell me? You are using LPG at home?
LPG.
Yes. What is the full form of LPG?
Liquefied petroleum gas.
Exactly. Bravo. Very nice. LPG, liquefied petroleum gas that we are using for cooking food. Okay. And it is compressible. You can compress this in a cylinder. You have seen the cylinder that you are using at home? Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
That the gas can be easily compressed in it and take the whole space of the container. Why? Because the molecules are very far away from each other. Yes. Now let me give you one example. If I say Arya is sitting in the living room and Arya's mother is making Maggie in the kitchen. Now I know that everybody mouth is watering. Are you eating a Maggie? No, you are not eating Maggie, Arya.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, then I am going to take another example. A delicious curry. Okay. So Arya's mother is making a delicious curry in the kitchen. And Arya get to know about this thing sitting in the living room. How come? Who will going to tell you? Who will
Ma'am,
going to
because
tell
of
me?
its smell.
Exactly.
Smell and smell.
Because the molecules of that delicious curry get into the nose of Arya with the help of a gases which is spread all through the room. Okay, I hope you understood the aroma of that delicious curry spread in the whole room. And Arya get to know, yes, mother is making some delicious curry today. Yes, so I hope you understood that the molecules of the gases so apart from each other that they can take the whole space of the room, whole space of the container wherever we are keeping. Okay, I hope I am very much clear to you all. Please show me the thumb if you understood up to here so that I can move ahead. Okay, very nice, dear. I can see all the thumbs. Okay, let's move ahead with the solid in detail. Yes, so solid in detail. we understood that solid being a rigid matter cannot take the shape of a container where are we keeping the solid material. Why? Because the molecules are very tightly packed. So here it is self-explanatory slide, student. You can see further example. You can see the bench, pen. Okay, you can see many more objects here. All these are in solid form. Okay, so please do remember only one thing. Don't go by the theoretical approach. Just have a practical approach. At the end of the session, you should count in the tips that yes, matter means, ma'am said that matter means space and mass. Three states of matter: solid, liquid, gas. In this tightly packed, loosely packed, very far away from each other. In this way, you should know. Okay. I hope you understood about the solid. Yes. Let's. Should I move on to the next slide? I hope I am very much clear. Okay. Let's move ahead with the liquid, student. Okay, in liquid, how the molecules are arranged in liquid? Loosely packed.
Loosely packed.
Exactly, not as tight as in case of a solid, as you can see in the picture. Yes, so they can take the shape of the container wherever you are keeping the liquid, irrespective of any liquid, whether it is a milk, whether it is a juice, any kind of a drink or a ink. Yes, it will take the shape of a container. Why? Do remember, because this question is being asked previously, that why the liquid will take the shape of a container wherever we are pouring, because the molecules are loosely packed. They can take the shape of container, they can spread easily. Okay, okay, now here comes the last state of matter, that is gases. You know, in gases, they are very apart from each other, they hardly coincide each other. Yes, they can move freely in the atmosphere. Yes, so I hope you understood gases. Yes. Okay, who will going to tell me what is which gas in the atmosphere is present in ample? Who will
Ma'am,
going to tell me?
oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Is that carbon
Ma'am.
dioxide?
Ma'am, carbon dioxide is present in the night and oxygen is present in the daylight.
If I say one more gas is there which is present in ample.
Nitrogen.
Exactly. Who gave that answer? Please raise your hand. Very good, Ishan. Perfect, beta. Very nice. Very well doing. Okay, so here we understood that nitrogen is a gas which present in the atmosphere in ample, then and thereafter oxygen. Do you know who will going to tell me? Though it is not here, but I want to elaborate. I want to see whether you know or not. If carbon dioxide increase in the atmosphere, what would happen? What is the implication in that case? Yes. Who will going to tell me this thing?
Ma'am, we wouldn't be able to breathe properly because the gas that we taken is oxygen and the gas that uh, we cannot take in is carbon dioxide.
Okay.
So
You are partially correct. If I say you are partially correct, what is the reason? Okay, you are correct that we can't able to breathe freely. Like right now we can breathe because of the ample oxygen present in the atmosphere. But if carbon dioxide is present, carbon dioxide is a warm air. Do you know that? It is very warm. And what would happen? It will result in the global warming. Do you know that the polar ice will melt just because of the heat in the atmosphere? And this will result in the what? This will result in the flood also. Do you know that? It will everything submerge in the water because the polar ice will melt due to the atmospheric temperature being very hot. Understood? So we know that we have only one remedy available, that is plant, because plant is our friend. From the root till the tip, we are getting everything from the plant. Do you know that? Yes, so many things we are getting: wood, flowers, fruit, stem, everything we are eating in plant. Yes, friend is, I must say, such a good friend. Plant is such a good friend of ours. Yes, so here we have to plant more and more tree, okay, in order to make sure there will be no global warming. Okay, let's move ahead with our topic today. Okay, here comes the property of material in detail. Okay, we understood the three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. Now let's talk about this property. Student, understand this property thoroughly. It will go with you till higher standard. Okay, so once you understand practically, there is no need to do rectification. So here, student, let's talk about the property in detail one by one. First, let's talk about shape. Okay, Just talk about the shape in case of a solid, liquid, and gases. We know that because you are now able to speak out the answer. I know that. Okay. Let me take my pen. Okay. So here I am talking about solid. So you know very well in solid. What is the shape of solid? Yes.
Definite.
Yes, it is definite. What it is? Definite. I am keeping it anywhere. It makes no difference. It will retain its shape. Solid said, I am not going to change. You will change my container but my shape is this only. Yes. Now let's talk about liquid. Is that definite?
No, it's not definite.
No, it will take the shape of.
The
Yes.
container.
Very good. And what about gases? Is the shape of gases definite here?
No, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am,
it
they
is
can
not
freely move.
definite. Yes, wherever
Ma'am, they
you
can
are
freely
sitting.
move around.
Yes. Okay, then let me give you one more example. I want one example from your side in order to ensure that the gas are not definite shape. Okay, not having a definite shape. If I am light up the instant stick, you know instant stick, agarbatti? Yes.
Yeah,
So if
ma'am.
I light up the instant stick, can I smell the instant stick sitting in another room or in the next or the
Yes, ma'am,
nearby
we
room?
can smell
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Ma'am, we can smell
Yes,
it
ma'am,
as well.
because
Ma'am, when we light the stick, the gas that it produces can move around to another area, so we can smell it.
Exactly. Same happened with the coil also. Yes, we are using other coils that also produces the gas. Yes, mosquito coils. Okay, I hope you understood about the shape. Now let's move ahead with the volume. I told you one word for the volume. What it is?
space.
Space. Now let's talk about the solid. Solid said, "Mera to sab definite hai. I have everything definite." Yes. How much shape I am taking? I am taking only this much shape. You change my container, but still I will going to take this much shape only. So my shape is sorry, my space is also definite. My volume is also definite. I told you, please do remember space word for the volume. Okay. What about liquid? Liquid is also having a definite volume. Okay, you can change this container. Instead of this, I can take the glass also. If I would have taken a glass here, still the space of the liquid remains same. I gave you the example 100. Have you seen that? In the second slide, I gave you the example. Okay, space taken by the liquid remained same. It remained definite irrespective of container. And what about the gases? Is the space remain same?
No.
No, it will take the whole space. I gave you the example of LPG. Yes, in the third slide. Yes, if the gas is there in the LPG, it will take the whole space of the LPG gas, whole cylinder. Okay, it can easily move. Okay, apart from each other. Now let's talk about the third one, attraction between molecules. Now tell me one thing. If I ask 5 students, okay, 5 students to sit next to each other, touching each other, what they will do? They will bump each other like this. They push each other. Why? Because they are sitting very close to each other. In the same way, the attraction between the molecule in solid is very strong because they are hitting each other. They are tightly packed. They can do dushum dushum. Yes, they can easily hit each other. That is called attraction between molecules. What about liquid? Not very strong as compared to solid, but still they are strong. But what about the gases? Negligible. Hoga hi nahi. Not even a little bit. Why? Because they are very apart from each other. If one is going like this, another will go like this. Yes. So no attraction. Attraction means colliding each other. Okay, so in case of gases, they will not collide each other. It's very negligible. Okay, maybe rarely they can collide each other because they are very apart from each other. Okay, I hope I am very much clear to you all up to here. Please show me the thumb if you understood. Okay, dear, I can see that. What about Tanmay? Yes, Vijit, you understood here? If you understood, please show me the thumb. If you face any difficulty, yes, beta. Okay. Okay. Yes. Now let's see the arrangement of molecules. I think it is self-explanatory. I explained you so many times. Solid, tightly packed. What about liquid? Less tightly packed. And what about gases? carbon. Yes. Now position of molecule again same. Here the molecules having a fixed position. Here not fixed because they are loosely packed. Here even not fixed because very loosely packed. I hope you understood all the properties, student. It's very, very important, I must say, because so many questions are there in this particular slide. Now here come a very interesting topic, student. Now let's move ahead with the processes, which is very important. Okay, now let me tell you process. I think before going ahead with the processes, let me ask you a little bit about the water cycle. How many of you are familiar with the water cycle? Okay, yes. Ritvik is familiar. Okay, a little bit. Yes, who will going to tell me? Ritvik, will you please tell me a little bit about the water cycle before going ahead with this slide?
Ma'am,
Yes,
water cycle is how water circulates throughout the world.
okay.
First,
How the water circulate? Can you tell me a little bit? I want a little bit description, elaboration from your side.
okay, ma'am. First, the sun will make the water evaporate, turning the water into water vapor. And then
Okay,
the water vapor will condense in as rain.
okay.
And
Yes, okay.
then it will go back to a nearby water body. That's it.
Okay, beta, perfect answer. Very well tried. Very nice. Okay, yes, beta, very good. Now let's, yes, Ishan, I can see that you know the answer, dear. Okay, but let me explain you this. Okay, okay. Now let's move ahead with here. What is there in all setup? Okay, it seems like so confusing. Yes, complicated, but it's quite easy. Let me tell you. First, can you see this is a liquid? How the molecules are arranged in liquid? Loosely packed. This is a solid. How the molecules are arranged? Tightly packed. You know, ice cube is the example of solid matter. Water is the example of what? Water is the example of what?
Liquid.
Liquid. And gases, water vapor is the example of gaseous form of matter. Now, if I say, let me give you one example, student. Okay, just don't think about this diagram. I am having a water with me. I boil that water over the stove. The water start boiling. The water change into what?
Water vapor. Water vapor.
Water vapor. So
Water-
here is the answer for
vapor.
your question. Evaporation. Yes.
This process is called evaporation.
Yes, beta. Let me explain. I will ask you. Okay. First, I want a student to mute from your side only for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you have to speak. I will be quiet then. Okay. Evaporation. Evaporate means when water change into water vapor due to the heating or boiling or due to the atmospheric pressure, atmospheric temperature, I must say, is known as evaporation. Okay, so you know this thing very well. If I boil the water in a container, the vapors start coming out of it. Yes, so water change into water vapor, liquid change into gases, their molecules are moving apart. Okay, so this is known as evaporation. Okay, here is one question. In the previous class, one student asked me, "Ki ma'am, if you are boiling the liquid, then water change into water vapor. That's completely fine." Okay, that is known as evaporation. We understood. But is it required that we have to heat all the time? Is it required, student?
No, ma'am.
No. Though, why? Because in the water body, the water is continuously evaporating or not?
Yes.
Yes. How
Yes,
come they are
ma'am.
evaporating? Yes. Due to what? How come they are evaporating? Because the heat coming from the sun. Yes, because the heat coming from the sun make the water what? Heat the water, boil the water of the water body. Yes, due to which the water change into water vapors. I hope you understood properly up to here. And even though if there is no sun, during the night time also evaporation take place because of the atmospheric temperature due to the heat in the atmosphere. I hope I am very much clear to you all. So do remember, evaporation is a process of change of water into water vapor due to the heating. Whether it is due to boiling, external heat you are providing, due to the atmospheric heat. Okay, I hope you understood. Yes? Okay, please show me the thumb before going ahead with the next process. Okay, dear. Okay. Ishan, where is your thumb? Your thumb is missing, dear. If you understood, please show me the thumb. Ishan Jain. Okay, yes. Okay, yes, I can see your thumb now. Okay, condensation. So what is condensation, dear? Condensation is just opposite of evaporation. So condensation is what? For say,
Gas forms to
yes,
liquid.
beta. Yes, Mokshika, you want to
Gas
speak?
forms to liquid.
Yes, very good. When gases change into liquid state, it is known as condensation, where you are getting a distilled water, a pure form of water. Yes. So here is your water. Okay. For example, here the gases. Okay, you boil. Here, take this one. I am having a very bad drawing. Yes, I know this thing. So here I am boiling this water. It change into vapors. I am putting one petri dish here, one plate over the container. After some time, if I remove this plate, I will see that the droplet, I can see the droplet in the petri dish. I can see on the surface of the plate. I can see what? I can see the droplet. Why so?
The students, the glasses over. That's all.
Yes, the vapors cool down and turn into what? Water droplets. So when the vapors turn into water on cooling, because it releases the energy. Okay, it releases the energy. It is known as condensation. So condensation is a process when vapors change into liquid. Okay, please do remember one thing. When you heat something, it gain energy. When you cool something, it release energy. Okay, please do remember this is a core concept. Okay, I hope you understand what is condensation. Now I want one example from your side. Yes, one example of condensation and evaporation before going ahead with sublimation and
Can
sublimation.
I?
Yes, Ishan dear, you can speak dear.
And the formation of clouds.
Yes, formation of cloud is an example of what?
Condensation.
Okay, who else will going to tell me the example of evaporation, condensation? See in your surroundings, so many examples are there. Just increase your perception. Yes, beta.
Ma'am, boiling water.
Boiling water, yes. I want a typical example, a little bit. Just think, what else is evaporating from the atmosphere? Yes, think.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Dewdrops from leaves.
Okay, that is called transpiration process, beta. Okay, do you know that the plants continuously evaporating the water from the leaves and the stem? That is known as a transpiration process. Okay, you said, that's why I elaborate that. So here it's a very good example you gave. Very good, beta. Even drying of cloths. Yes, how come your cloth easily dry when you are putting it on the terrace or somewhere else out? The water from the cloth, from the wet cloth, easily evaporate in the atmosphere due to the scorching heat coming from the sun. Yes, is that a good example of evaporation? Another example, if you spill a water on the floor, it will evaporate after some time. That is also an example of evaporation. Yes, I hope I'm very much clear to you all about the evaporation. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
hope. Yes. Let's see condensation. I explain you about the condensation. Condensation also, student. Okay. So here is a very good example of condensation. You might have seen this practical example in your daily life. When you are bringing any kind of a soft drink at home, you might have seen this kind of a water droplet outside. Why? Because the gases are cooling down. The gas cool down and form the water droplet. It's such a good example of condensation. Even you have experience in the cold water in a glass. Yes, you might have experienced a droplet collected. That is a distilled water. You know, that is a pure water. Okay, I hope you understood what is condensation. Anyone, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes, very good. Now let's move ahead with the next process, student. We understood evaporation, that is water to gas. Condensation, that is gas to water, that is a pure form of water, distilled water. Here comes a sublimation. So what is sublimation, dear? Now, let me give you one example for sublimation. You know sublimation means directly solid change into gases without going to the liquid state. That is called
naphthalene balls.
exactly
Ma'am, how is that
naphthalene
possible?
balls. Okay, why we are using naphthalene balls? Who will going to tell me naphthalene ball? Yes, yes, Ishan Jain.
Ma'am, to keep away insects.
Exactly, to keep away the rodent from our house or insects, as you said. We are using naphthalene. If you observe, if you are keeping a naphthalene ball in one of the corner of your house, after some time, if you observe, the size of the naphthalene ball reduce because it directly changed from solid to gases without going to liquid form. That is called sublimation. Anyone, any doubt in sublimation process? So sublimation is a process
Ma'am?
with solid. Yes, beta.
Ma'am, how is sublimation possible?
How come it is not possible? Here also evaporation take place, beta. When the heat from the atmospheric heat, the solid change into directly gaseous form. If you want to notice this thing, you can observe a camphor at home. You know what is camphor? We are
Yes,
using
ma'am.
in fusion. Okay, if you are keeping a camphor and notice after few days, it will continuously evaporate due to the atmospheric temperature, due to the heat from the atmosphere. Okay, the only thing is that in case of evaporation, yes, in the case of evaporation, liquid change into gases. Here, solid change into gases. Okay,
Yes,
got
ma'am.
it, Pita?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am,
just
what
opposite.
kind of material, ma'am? What kind of materials from which sublimation can happen, ma'am?
It happened in case of, just now I gave you the example, it happened in case of a, you can say chemical also. You don't know
No,
about the
no,
ammonium
ma'am,
chloride,
same like what type of material, ma'am?
which can sublimate.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it happened in case of a sublimate material only, beta, which is in a solid. If I ask you a wood plank, can you think that in case of a wooden plank, it can sublimate?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, only on sublimate material it happens. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, now just opposite to sublimation, there is a process deposition, which is also known as a desublimation. Okay, for example, sea salt. Desublimation or deposition means just opposite of sublimation, means gas to solid. Do you know that camphor also change from gas to solid in case of deposition or desublimation? Okay, so I hope you understood about these all processes. So how many processes we learn in this slide? Can you tell me the name? First is evaporation
Condensation, sublimation, and
and deposition. Or
deposition,
you can
freezing,
say,
and melting.
okay, desublimation. Very good. Perfect. Now here, student, comes the melting, and I think so it is self-explanatory. There is nothing that I have to explain you. But I want to ask you one observation. What if I ask you what you are understanding from this slide? Who will going to tell me? Yes. Yes, beta.
Ma'am, like in solids, it melts and change into liquids.
Yes, it change into liquid. That is called melting. Like in case of a ice cube. Yes. But what you can, other thing you can observe here,
Molecules changing.
molecules arrangement. Very good observation. When it was in a solid form, being an ice cube, change into a liquid, there is a change in the arrangement of molecules itself due to melting. Okay, this happened in case of a ice cream, this happened in case of a ice cube. I hope I am
Ma'am,
very much clear to
ma'am,
you all. Yes, beta.
when an ice cube melts into water, the heat makes the molecules in the solid spread out and it
Very good.
transforms into a liquid.
Yes, exactly. And what kind of a heat it is? They're getting a heat from where?
Ma'am, it is a direct heat.
Exactly. It is atmospheric heat, you can say. Instead of this, if I'm keeping a ice cream on my palm, yes, you said this thing, so let me elaborate this thing. Okay. Okay. Sulakshana. Okay, you have written there, Sulakshana. Let me tell you one thing. If I'm keeping an ice cube in my palm, what would happen with the ice cube? Yes.
Ma'am, the ice cube would melt as the heat of your hand would make it melt.
Exactly, perfect answer. The heat from my palm transfer to the ice cube, and the ice cube will melt and change into liquid form. Very good, perfect perception. Very nice, beta. Well done. Okay, I hope I am very much clear to you all. Here,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
last topic of this session, solidification. It itself I think it is self-explanatory. Yes, there is nothing to say about solidification. Solid form. So here solidification means freezing. If you want to make an ice cube, I think it is not a rocket science. है ना? Each student can make an ice cube. How you can make
Ma'am.
ice cube? Putting a liquid
Ma'am,
in a
Container.
refrigerator.
in a container
Ice
and putting it in a very cold area or in a cold
Freezer.
Exactly. So liquid change into solid. Here, can you see the change? Can you see the change of molecules? Change in the
Yes,
arrangement of molecules? Yes? Okay,
Ma'am,
very good.
Ma'am, when solidification happens, ma'am, the molecules in the water start to stick together, forming ice.
Yes, and they gain energy. They gain what? Energy. And that is why they form such pattern. Yes? Okay. During heating, what would happen? They
Ma'am,
gain energy and the kinetic energy. They gain the kinetic energy and they lose their bond. Here, due to cooling, what would happen? They
they
release
would
energy.
start melting.
Exactly. Okay. So now I hope you all are in a position to answer my question. Let me.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a time for your knowledge test. Okay. So here is
Ma'am,
the
evaporation.
yeah. Okay. So Lakshana, let me at least read the question for you. Okay. This shows that you understood thoroughly. Yeah. I'm so happy for you. Okay. So let me read the question. I do understand you understood everything. Which process is involved in the drying of wet floor? Yes.
Evaporation.
Very good. Okay, let me ask you next question. A substance does not have a fixed volume and occupies the total space of container.
Liquid.
Just see the question. There is no hurry. Just go through the question. It can be compressed. Yes, bravo. I'm
Yes.
so happy that each and every student able to answer. So happy. Very good, student. So here is the end of the session.